Hey, welcome to Half the Battle, and welcome, my friends, to the 400th episode! And for this special occasion, I'm taking a look at a vehicle that I really don't like, but that could have been awesome.
So meet the Badger. This vehicle was released in 1991 with all original parts. Now, if you're familiar with this toy, you've probably noticed that mine is missing a piece. The entire front hood, to be precise.
Now, I do have that part, sort of. It's complicated. I'll explain later.
I'm using pictures from eBay to show the complete toy for the moment. Now, if you know me, you've already guessed why I don't like this toy.
The color!
This neon puke yellow greenish on the main body is just repulsive. Of all the colors they could have chosen, they pick one that makes me appreciate the lives the colorblind must lead. The only nice thing I can say about it is that at least it's not as bad as a septic tank, since this one doesn't make me throw up in my mouth.
And while the color is the main problem, there are a few more things that make this thing bad.
I've never been a fan of missile launchers that really shoot, and this big one on top of the roll cage looks ridiculous. It also looks like the cage wouldn't support such a heavy thing anyway. Also, the toy comes with 3 missiles while there's room for 4. 3 on the pegs, 1 in the barrel.
I mean, I get the logic, play-wise.
You have a full rack of 3 missiles, then you take one off to put in the launcher and fire, but I still would have preferred 4 missiles. I would have also preferred it if they had put the launcher on the back to mimic the old Vamp or Cobra Stinger designs, since the box calls this an attack jeep, even though it reminds me more of a dune buggy or something.
Speaking of the back,
I could have sworn I was missing yet another piece. Doesn't the, trunk I guess I could call it, look like it should have a cover? Especially since those ugly pegs used for the suspension stick out like a sore thumb and make the thing look more like a toy than a vehicle. The Badger has room for 3 figures, 1 in the driver's seat and there's a foot peg on either side of it, but I think they designed this wrong because the placement of the pegs make it impossible for the figure to face the front, so they're stuck looking behind the vehicle. It's just weird. And I guess you can have 2 more figures sit on the back, but I'm not sure that's intentional.
now relax, I'm almost done complaining.
And this last gripe is really just a nitpick that would only really bother people with OCD or something, but the front and rear axles are different colors. That's just annoying. There is a reason for the difference, as the front axle is just part of the main body, but the rear one is a separate piece that's part of the main gimmick of the vehicle, actually working rear wheel suspension. It's kinda fun for kids, so I like it.
Yes, believe it or not, there are some things I like about the Badger.
There's the overall look of the vehicle, ignoring the color obviously. As though I have called it a dune buggy, it reminds me of a Warthog from Halo a little bit. I think the flag antenna thing is a nice addition, though it's fragile and easily lost. Honestly, I think this vehicle had real potential.
So, did Hasbro ever do anything else with the mold?
Well, yes, it was recolored and became the Crimson Cruiser in the Street Fighter subline, and the red looks nice, but they shot themselves in the foot by adding neon orange, uglifying the whole thing again. I guess you could take the blue parts of the Badger and put them on the Cruiser to make a vehicle that doesn't make you envy Stevie Wonder, and it would look pretty nice.
That's not what I did, though.
Yeah, remember at the beginning where I said I did have a front hood? Well, I haven't shown you this until now because it's part of this custom. As the Rolling Stones once said, I want it painted black, so I did. I also removed the rocket launcher and replaced it with the gun from the Ferret, and then added random black missiles. That, plus some surplus stickers I had, made for a pretty spiffy Cobra vehicle if I do say so myself. So yeah, the Badger has potential and you can unlock it. And since you don't need a missile launcher or even the front end brush cage, you can pick up a used incomplete Badger online for less than $10 and go nuts, which I encourage you to do.
Now, did I make a whole episode, the 400th even, just to brag about my custom Badger?
No, but it may have been a factor. By the way, I never named this thing, so if you have a suggestion, do let me know in the comments below, and I'll pick the one I like most. I'll announce the winner in a later video. Since this was the only toy the Badger ever got, all that's left to do is talk about the box and if it showed up in other media.
And firstly, there's the name, Badger.
I mean, it's not the most intimidating animal to name a combat vehicle after, is it? Sure, a badger will attack you if cornered, but that's true for most animals. I'm just not convinced this name would strike fear in the hearts of the Cobra legions. But the Joes were apparently proud enough of the name to put it on a flag. The back of the box calls it the Joe's most advanced lead assault jeep, making me think it is supposed to be the 90s version of the Vamp. So again, why not have the launcher on the back? The Badger did not come with a driver, though the box has Big Ben controlling it for what that's worth. There's also a live-action commercial featuring the vehicle that has Duke as the driver.
Again, for what that's worth.
Now, for other media, in the D-cartoon it shows up a bunch of times, most notably in A is for Android, where Hawk uses it to take a kid who had snuck onto their base home, in a completely non-creepy way at all, what with him sitting on Hawk's lap. In the comics, it makes its debut in issue 120, doing, nothing at all. Yeah, the Joes are just keeping a watch on Castle Destro to see if there's any trouble. In issue 121, its brakes fail, making it roll in sight of a Cobra force that has shown up to take the castle, meaning the Joes are no longer covert. A Cobra calls it thin-skinned, so I guess it's got that going for it. In the next issue, it participates in the fight against Cobra, and does well enough. But in its final appearance, in issue 123, they use it as a distraction and it gets blown up by Cobra. Yeah, this is very much an, okay, we'll show the damn toy and then get rid of it scenario for the comic. The exact same thing in this very storyline happens to the Brawler. But hey, at least this thing got to be on the opening page twice. And that was the Badger. An extremely ugly little thing that had so much potential, and that I encourage all of you to get and repaint the hell out of it.
So there you have it, the 400th episode. Here's to 400 more. Well, I'll see you next time, everybody. And hey, why not like, share, and subscribe if that's your thing?